Well, thank you, Wendy. And hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Hector Del Castillo, and I'm Chief Product Officer at Beyond. And it is my pleasure to be leading this topic today, this talk, 9 surefire ways to scale your business fast. And first of all, as we get started, I want to point out that we will have a Q&A portion, and submit your questions using the Q&A window. Wendy will be moderating questions during the Q&A portion. I also want to give special thanks to the great IT professional for allowing me to be here today and hosting this particular webcast. And also I want to point out that, if I can navigate here. Here we go. If you're on Twitter, you can actually use these particular handles at BeyondMA, also at HM Del Castillo, and hashtags business growth and hashtag growth strategy. You can also connect with me or follow us on our company page on LinkedIn, and the short URL bit.ly/beyond19 is our company page on LinkedIn. Today's discussion was going to be focusing on answering this question: why do most companies fail to achieve significant business growth? Whether it's good times or bad times, most companies struggle to actually get significant growth, even as they have executives, owners that have aspirations, and they know that the market is there. So why do companies fail to achieve the growth that they actually want to achieve? We'll be focusing on that, and the discussion today will be about what really disruption does to your business. And in today's world, we are flooded with lots of complexity, way too many changes happening, a lot of volatility in the way that people will actually look for and find and buy products, as well as ambiguity and uncertainty about the future. And these 4 factors usually end up part of the effect of disruption. So we'll be discussing specifically what are the things that you can do to overcome many of these things that are part of today's disruptive environment. And if you listen to most experts, when they're tracking why most companies do fail when they're not, even when they are already have achieved a certain level of growth, but then implode. And there are many companies that have done this over time, from companies like Blockbuster to Kodak, even Research in Motion, BlackBerry. These are all examples of companies that at some point were leaders in their market and then imploded because they could not predict the future. And at least they didn't even diversify their investments in order to ensure that they could remain relevant in the future. And this particular TED Talk, if you go to that, this particular partner from BCG, Boston Consulting Group, is saying there are really 2 reasons why companies fail. And for the majority of companies, when they actually start getting to a certain level of growth, they only focus on optimizing performance, and that's all they do. 125% of resources, all they do is optimize their performance. And they sort of forget that sometimes markets will shift, and if they're not working on what's next for the company, those markets can implode pretty quickly. And if they don't have a way to start diversifying and getting into other, as to anticipating where the market is going, they actually implode pretty quickly. On the other hand, there's the other extreme where companies are actually do nothing but explore, and they're looking at diversification, new products into new customers, new markets, and they are continuing to invest heavily on research and development and introduce new products in the market, trying to create a market. And that's all they do. And the bottom line is that in today's world, you have to have a combination of both, not one or the other. You actually have to focus on optimizing performance for certain things that you know are about today. and then exploring about the future, what's next for your company. And you have to kind of balance the investment across both of those things because often they require significant resources, but also different resources and different capabilities than the ones that you're trying to optimize on today for your current market. So we're going to be discussing specifically the information that we're going to be discussing is specifically how is it that you're going to actually balance this out. Before we go any further, I want to ask those of you, and I would like to ask those of you to actually answer using the chat window so that we can actually find out from your perspective, what is the biggest barriers for growth within your company today? Is it lack of time? Is it insufficient investment? Is it lack of staff engagement? Is it inadequate planning or is it poor execution? Use the chat window to respond to this question, and then we can proceed on discussing specifically what are the ways to overcome any of these barriers that are barriers to growing your business. And I see many of you are responding via chat. Some of you are saying lack of time. Some of you are saying it's lack of time and poor execution. So it's actually a combination of two different things. And a few of you are saying it's not necessarily about the planning, but it's also about, trying to get your workers engaged. So suffice to say that any of these things, any combination of these are really the reasons why most companies fail to achieve the growth that they're actually looking to achieve. And so what we're looking for is what are the ways to overcome these particular barriers which become challenges to growing any business. So we're going to continue on to the next slide, and there's a survey that was done by Strategy and it's actually a division of PwC, and this was published actually a couple of years ago. But this was a global survey of executives across industries, and the outcome of that, what they found is that only 8% of company leaders, these are the executives of companies, believe that they have inside their company what it takes to excel at both strategy and its execution. And what you find is that on the average, 92% of companies have some sort of strategy to execution gap, and those are the ones that become the barriers to actually achieving the growth that you have planned. So even if you have a brilliant strategy, if you're not figuring out how to execute it, you're not going to be able to achieve the level of growth that you're looking for within your business. And also, the other thing is that we want to focus on what we're going to be discussing today. We're going to focus specifically on how is it that you're going to actually have the right growth strategy and design the 9 different things that you should design into your strategy to make sure that it's actionable, that it's implementable, and that it's realistic based on what your current constraints, whether you have limited resources, limited funding, any combination of those things that end up being gaps in the way that you can execute. And we're going to be discussing key takeaways and then having Q&A. So why does it matter to have a strategy? Well, first thing is that a recent report from the National Center for the Middle Market, and these are actually a survey that was done across middle market companies in US, something like 200,000 companies that they're actually tracking, and they actually polled the executives of mid-market companies, and here's what came up. Number one, a well-designed strategy drives growth for most businesses. And that means that you have to have 2 components, a well-defined strategy and that you can clearly articulate your unique value proposition in the marketplace and ensure that it's relevant in the market. And also having a process by which you're actually designing the strategy is important because it helps you, number one, have a formal planning team for your strategy, have a process that everybody's following and ensuring that you're following it on a...
Hi there, hope you enjoyed that last clip. My name is Michael Maludis, and if you'd like to watch the full 60 minutes of that last webcast, while also getting complete unlimited access to our entire library of IT learning, simply visit our subscribe page at greatpro.org/subscribe. Unlimited annual access is $199 per year, but if you use the coupon code LEARN2EARN, you can drop that membership fee to just $149. That's less than $13 per month for unlimited access to over 1,000 hours of on-demand career development, covering the entire spectrum of IT management best practices, including business analysis and requirements, software development, quality and testing, risk management, process improvement, project management, and even digital transformation. But your membership doesn't just give you unlimited access to our vast learning library. You also get free access to our mobile app, as well as direct access to our network of over 300 of the world's leading IT consultants, all of whom are dedicated to putting practical knowledge at your fingertips so that you can learn more and earn more. I hope you will join me in becoming a member of the Great IT Professional and advancing your career with us. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button above so that you get notified whenever we publish new free webcasts each week of the year. Thank you for your time and best wishes for your continued success.